Let's try this problem. Find the perimeter of the composite shape. So as you can see, I redrew the shape that we were working with last time in the last video. And if you want to see that video, which shows how to get the area of this composite shape, you can just click right here and it'll bring you right to it. So now back to this one. We want the perimeter. And remember, the perimeter is the sum of the lengths of the sides. So this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this, all added together. Okay? So the big suggestion I have for this is to take a marker or a colored pencil or something that's not the same color as the shape, and a highlighter would work too, and outline it so you kind of know what you're dealing with here. So we got this plus this plus this plus this plus this, oops, plus this. Okay, perfect. So first of all, we need to know the lengths of all the sides. And I see that this is 11 and I see that this is 5. Now, these hash marks here tell me that all of these sides have the same measure. Now this side actually isn't going to play a role, this dotted side, because as you can see, I outlined the perimeter and it's not green, so we're not going to count it, okay? So that means that anything with a hash mark like that has the same measure as, everything else with a hash mark. So because we know one of them is 5, that means all of them are 5. So another strategy for finding the perimeter is to mark off every side, okay? So this is 5. This is 5. This has a hash mark, so it's 5. This has a hash mark, so it's 5. Now, this is 11. It's already been marked off, so we're good. So now all we need to do is to add them all up. So another suggestion I have is there's a lot of ways to do this, but oftentimes when students answer a question like this incorrectly, it's not because they don't know what they're doing. It's because they make a silly mistake and they forget a side or you know what I mean? Something like that, something very basic. More of a silly mistake as opposed to a conceptual one. So a tip that I have for you, there's several ways. Way one is to I see a lot of 5s, let's count how many I have, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now notice, I actually started on the right because I knew the other side was 11 with the first 5 that I saw and then went counterclockwise. That's a good way to make sure I don't double count or miss anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 5s. So it's going to be 5 times 5 and then plus the only side that's remaining is this one, which is 11. So plus 11. So that's going to equal 5 times 5 is 25 plus 11. And 25 plus 11, 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3, so 36. And then don't forget your units. Centimeters. I don't need to put an S on that. Okay, perimeter. And there we go. So the perimeter is 36 centimeters. Okay? Now, maybe you're somebody that doesn't like to do the multiplication, and it's fine. I cannot stress how important it is that you approach each problem the way that works best for you, okay? So don't be like, oh, I need to do 5 times 5, and if we're only 4, it'll be 4 times 5. You know what I mean? No. If you want to add up every single one individually, you go for it, okay? So what I'm going to do now is erase and show you how to maybe do that. And avoid miscounting, missing something, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna say is, again, I highly recommend when you have things that are the same measure and one that's different, that you either start, directly to the right or directly to the left of the different one, okay? Because it's just easier to keep track of. So let's say I decide to start here, okay? Circle it, that's where you're starting, okay? Now, every time you write it down, put a check mark next to it. Okay, so it's 5. The perimeter is going to be 5. So I can even write perimeter up here. Okay, perimeter is going to be 5. I marked it up. I wrote it down, so check. Plus 5. I did this one. Check. Plus 5. Check. So now I can check. I have 1, 2, 3 check marks. 1, 2, 3 5s. Good. Plus 5, check. And I got one more 5 here. Plus 5, did it, so check. And then I've got only one thing left, which is just this 11. And I can go back and say, what's next after the 11 going counterclockwise? Well, another 5, but I've already taken care of it. Because number 1, I see it's circled, so I know I started with that one. And number 2, I have a check mark next to it. Okay? Now we just add this all up, and I like to, me, I like to double stuff, I like to halve stuff, I like to make things 10 because it's just easier that way. So 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 plus 5 is 10, and plus 5 plus 11. So then I'm going to go here first, which is going to be 16. 10 plus 10 is 20. Okay, so 20 plus 16 is going to be 36. And that's centimeters, and that's the perimeter. Perfect. Awesome, there you go. So that's another approach. Now I'm going to show you one final way, okay? And that is to break up the shapes, okay? Now, sometimes this might make sense to do, sometimes it won't. And again, I'm going to stress again what I said earlier, okay? Which was the fact that you need to approach this problem the way that works best for you, okay? So if you're like, I want to break it up because this is too confusing, go for it. So you've got your square and you've got your trapezoid, okay? You know that all of these are 5. And you know that this is 5, this is 5, this is 5, and this is 11. Now, here is the place where you can make a mistake, and that is that you accidentally get the full perimeter of this and add it to the full perimeter of that, which is incorrect. So what I suggest doing is using another color to mark off the part of the perimeter that you want, okay? So in this case, for the square, we want just this top piece, okay? You see it in red here, so I'm gonna do it up here. I just want that, okay? For the trapezoid, I just want the 2 legs and one of the bases. So I'll mark that off in orange. So again, I'm going to come over here and do the 2 legs and one of the bases, okay? Now what you're saying is, I want the red numbers and the orange numbers, and that's all I'm adding, okay? So we come over here and we say 5 plus 5 plus 5, okay? 5 plus 5 plus 5, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3 5s, 1, 2, 3 5s, good, and that's going to be 15. And then we come over here and it's 5 plus 11 plus 5. So 5 plus 11 plus 5. So again, I like to mark things off in 10, so I'm going to take those 2 5s first, that's 10, plus 11, so that's going to be 21. Perfect. So I know I haven't put units on, that's okay because I'm not done. So I've got 15 plus 21. So I'm just going to come over here and say, okay, what's 15 plus 21? Okay, and that's just going to be 36. And now I'm going to put my units on there, centimeters. Remember, it's centimeters because it's not area. Okay, perfect. Perimeter is 36 centimeters, and there we go. So again, this one, for this problem, it may have made more sense just to go around, but the benefit to this is you do have, 2 smaller groupings of numbers, so you're less likely to accidentally miss one or double count one or something like that. However, you do run the risk of double counting here. So something you can do too is once you draw it, say, I don't want this piece, I don't want this piece, you know what I mean? And it's like, some people might laugh when they see me do that, but hey, it's a great visual to say, hey, don't count me there. You know what I mean? If you did it in pencil, you can erase it, something like that. So yeah, so hopefully one of these ways works for you. Again, do the way that works best for you. And there you go. Hey everyone, I'm Ms. Milkowski, the mathematician, and I hope you found that last video helpful. If you have any questions or if there are any topics you'd like to see me cover in future videos, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm going to leave you with the most important piece of advice I can give you, which is when you're doing mathematics, always ask why.